Welcome to the Gen X Journey podcast. Dive into all things important to Gen Xers, from advice on aging parents, expert interviews, product reviews, and heartfelt conversations. So put down the joystick, grab your Walkman, dust off your old yearbooks, and welcome to the Gen X Journey.
Hey everybody, welcome back to the Gen X Journey podcast. This is Steve. I'm back with my good friends Noel and Keith. How's it going, guys?
Happy New Year!
Happy New Year!
Beef jerky time.
Beef jerky
time. I
time.
got used to work. Merry New Year! Beef jerky time. I love that movie so much. So much.
Merry New Year.
Merry New Year. That's one of the best movies ever.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, totally. And something that you can never get tired of watching. It's one of those movies that just is funny, and I think I pick up something new out of it every single time.
Agreed.
Mm-hmm.
It's so great.
But anyway,
required viewing for every child and adult in America, I think.
Absolutely.
If you're a parent and your children have not seen this movie, you're failing miserably.
Yes.
Unless they're newborns and you got time.
Get on that.
Get on it. You've got homework. Yeah. Get on it.
Anyways, I hope everybody had a great New Year's Eve and New Year's Day and had a great time with family during this past holiday series. Really looking forward to digging into 2025 and really taking this show in the direction that we've been dying to take it to. Is from a topic standpoint, we've got some really cool things that are in the plan. So we thought we'd take this episode, even though it's going to be brief this week, to just sort of introduce you some of the big stuff that we want to dive into in 2025. So anyway, Keith, you want to sort of kick it off for us?
Yeah, well, we've kind of started this trend a couple of episodes ago when we talked about the things that you didn't know about the television show Cheers. So we went through that one, and we also went through some of the best movie scenes of the 80s and the 90s. And so that was kind of the preemptive just pulse gauging to see if people enjoyed this kind of material. And we did get a lot of good feedback that this was some good stuff. They learned some things about Cheers that they didn't know. Some people even commented they've gone back and started watching some of the episodes again on Prime and whatnot. So a couple of things that we're going to be talking about isn't just about television shows, but some of the history and the origins of things that we used all the time. And one of the things that we're going to be talking about first is something that we all used throughout high school and part of college to get us through some of the most boring literature classes. Well, okay, at least for me, some people love it, but that's just me. And that is the history of Cliff Notes and how Cliff Notes came to be. So I think that's going to be a really interesting episode to hear a little bit of the history behind how all of us were able to use some of this and hoped our teachers hadn't read them before we did, right?
Yeah.
So
gosh, I wonder if they're still around. I mean, I don't know that college kids use them anymore because Google and stuff. But.
Yeah, they've got Google. They've got like all of these other Quizlets and all this.
Grok. Yeah, they've got AI. I mean,
they've got AI.
Yeah.
Cliff Notes was our paper AI back in the day to help us. So anyway, so that'll be interesting to hear. When did it come to fame? How did it come to be? And is it still around today? So I'm sure things that we'll all learn.
Yep, should be cool. Looking forward to that. Yeah, the one of the things that that birthed back during the last back in I think it was the 80s, or I can't remember,
early
80s or 90s.
Yeah,
early 80s was ESPN. So right. It's something that I know growing up I had Sports Center on religiously pretty much and just kind of watched. I mean, that was sort of part of my childhood, part of my upbringing. So we figured that would be an interesting thing to kind of dive into, kind of understand a little bit about the history of ESPN, how it came about, how it evolved from its early goings to what it is today, and really interesting topic we think, and something, like I said, that a lot of people I think interacted with and kind of grew up with. So we thought it'd be interesting to dive into.
100%.
Yeah. I'm really excited to us digging into the origins of MTV, and such a lifeline of our youth, and really sort of I think why music's so important to Gen X is how it was introduced to us through MTV. It started with the Buggles and Video Killed the Radio Star.
Yeah.
And just, so many historic moments during MTV that can be connected back to just influences from MTV and so forth. So that's going to be a fun episode. Every time we do a music podcast, it affects my playlist for the following month. So I'm looking forward to digging into this one.
Absolutely.
Yeah, absolutely.
One of the ones that I'm real excited about, and this was one of the ones I actually thought about doing a deep dive when we were doing some of our deep dives. I think Noel did the one with
Rick Moranis.
Rick Moranis. Yeah, my deep dive was going to be a deep dive into Saturday Night Live and the origins of Saturday Night Live. So I think, even though I'd admit that they've had a bit of a resurgence with some funny stuff that's come out recently. Honestly, I'm pretty impressed with some of the new stuff, but let's be honest, the heyday of SNL was late 70s, early 80s. Best of the class, in my opinion. I don't think it can ever be outdone. So I'm excited to hear and talk a little bit with you all about the origins and the continuity of Saturday Night Live and the influence it's had, not only on our generation, but on TV and movies hereafter. So that's what I'm looking forward to. What about you, Noel? You got another one?
Yeah, we identified several topics rather to do kind of deep dives into. We talked about SNL. Another one is we're going to do a deep dive on John Williams. I mean, we're music people, and I mean, John Williams' music is just, I mean, it's epic, and it's the soundtrack of some of the biggest movie blockbusters of the days. What an amazing musician and conductor. And I think it'll be really fun to kind of dive in and learn a little bit more about John Williams. So
heck yeah,
absolutely.
Heck yeah. Yeah, and then y'all can also look forward to a deep dive into Steven Spielberg. Of course, movie icon. Just the list of just amazing movies that he's helped produce and direct, and whatever you want to give him as a title for his role. But he was, some amazing movies, and so it's gonna be a fun episode for us.
Absolutely. Yep. One of the ones I'm excited about really is, as we all know, February is Black History Month. And we are going to have a very neat episode that talks about one woman, a Black woman who revolutionized telecom. It was never the same again. I'm not going to give it away, but I'm excited about this story that we're going to be launching during Black History Month in February. It's going to be a really, really cool episode.
Yeah. I'm sitting here shocked that you skipped Star Wars.
Yeah, I talk about it so much.
I'm really shocked.
Yeah, I talk about it so much. I want somebody else to talk about it. So
you called an audible. I'm like, I'm looking at the same list you are, right? And I don't see that on my list. So yeah, Star Wars. We're gonna do a deep dive on that. We're gonna mute Keith's mic for most of it and let Steve do all the talking.
That's right.
He's the resident expert on all of it.
He's the guru. Yeah.
Yes. I cannot wait.
There's a cure for this, Steve. You can just watch all the movies and get caught up. You know,
might be able to stretch this out into 30-minute episode by doing that. But seriously, I mean, this could be a multi-episode topic.
Yeah,
it really is.
There's a lot to it. If y'all haven't watched this new show that's out on Disney, The Skeleton Crew, no. Man, I tell you what, it's The Goonies meets Star Wars. It is great. It's been a long time since I've sat with a smile on my face from ear to ear the entire episode. All of them are just like you're back in like Steven Spielberg, Amblin Entertainment. Like everything about it is just so fun. I highly recommend it if you haven't watched. Even if you're not like Dawn is not a Star Wars fan, she's watching this with me. It's great. It's really good. Anyway, now I'll shut up. See, that's why I didn't want to talk about it.
Yeah, another great topic we're going to discuss is the movie or the TV show MASH.
Right.
And definitely one of my all-time. And we've talked about who's our favorite character in the TV show in the past. Mine's Radar. Keith, do you remember yours?
I want to say mine was Hawkeye.
Yeah,
I can't remember for sure if it was. I think it was Hawkeye. Noel, who was or was that yours, Noel?
It was mine.
Okay, so
may have been the same on that.
You like the guy that dressed up like in different stuff?
Oh man, Klinger.
Yeah.
That guy's hilarious.
Yeah.
So funny, man.
So good. His character arc, I think, is the best of all of them. To be honest with you,
it is.
Yeah.
So
one of the most interesting characters for sure.
Yeah.
Colonel Potter was great as well.
Oh man, I didn't appreciate Colonel Potter till I got older. Like
Yeah.
when I was a kid, I didn't
Mm.
like him, but now he's one of my favorites. I was like, wow, this guy's pretty impressive.
Yeah.
And
Anyway.
I've actually talked to Loretta Swit on Instagram. We've actually
Really?
messaged back and forward to each other. I was so giddy when that happened. I'm like, I'm literally Instagram messaging Hot Lips.
Houlihan?
Yeah.
Yeah, okay.
Pretty cool.
I can't believe I remembered her character's name.
Yeah, you're good. Hot Lips Houlihan.
My I just remember my dad watching MASH all the time, and MASH, when MASH came on, I mean, it was time to go to bed because it came on at like 9:00. And so it was time to go to bed when MASH came on, but
it's good
anyway.
stuff. So one of the people that we were talking about some pretty significant figures of the 90s in the 80s in the previous episode. And one of the characters that we thought was overlooked, we want to do a deep dive in, and that is Eddie Murphy. You think about the influence of Eddie Murphy, and again, going back to Saturday Night Live, Axel F with Beverly Hills Cop, and all the way through, and how he's transformed from a really crude comedian into a family comedy type movie person is a pretty neat transformation of this guy. So we're going to do a deep dive into the life and actor Eddie Murphy, the life of actor Eddie Murphy, I should say.
Yeah.
Hercules.
Maybe I guess.
I clean my collar right now.
Who'd that say my name?
That's going to be a good one. I'm looking for. I love Eddie Murphy, man.
Me too. He's
the Delirious and Raw. I remember watching that for the first time, and I was like, "Oh my god, don't tell Mom I watched that."
Yeah, right. Exactly. Yeah, I was wondering, should I be listening to this?
That was raunchy stuff, man.
It was bad.
Boy, it was funny though. And the suits that he wore for that, purple and Delirious and red and Raw, it was just in like full, head to toe leather and stuff, oh my gosh, crazy. Anyway, we're going to talk about the movie Goonies, which was just a cultural icon, for the day and stuff. And it'd be good to do like a, where are they now, and kind of, do a little, zoom in on like where are they today and that kind of stuff. And I know that I've seen some stories and stuff on the characters, in modern day. And also the house that Goonies was shot in too is sort of like it's privately owned residence and stuff, but there's a lot of people that go and take pictures and stuff in front of. I've seen stuff like that on Twitter and everything, social and stuff, but it's wild. Yeah. Anyway, so big topics planned. We have a lot of good things planned for 2025. I'm excited about it. And, we're building a really nice group of people that are, listeners that are listening in and tuning in. And we really appreciate everybody's loyalty and coming back and listening and downloading, tell your friends, subscribe, all that kind of stuff. We appreciate that. But we hope that everybody enjoys these topics. And if you have others that you'd like for us to dive into, other things you want to have added to our deep dive list, or things to kind of dive into just to kind of learn more about and stuff, we'd love to hear that from you and dive in for it. We'll throw it to our research department, let them do a number on it, and we'll dive in together on it. But
absolutely.
Yeah.
That sounds fun. It's going to be a fun year. And the midpoint one that we haven't talked about is one, we're going to do a couple of series of episodes on the 40th anniversary of Live Aid and the bands that were around that. So that comes up. It's 40 years in July. Can you believe it?
Wow.
So a lot of stories between Queen and Phil Collins, and there's some neat stories that are intertwined with Live Aid that we're going to talk about. So a lot of neat things, but so stay tuned. More things, including when it warms up, we are really doing pickleball. Okay, we're doing it.
Maybe
we might. We're going to tease that for the rest of
It's been brought up about a dozen times.
We're going to talk about it until it's not a popular sport anymore.
Yeah.
Anyway,
You're good.
But we're excited about 2025. Noel, great tee up. Thank you. And we will talk to you all as we begin the year.
Awesome.
Take care, everybody.
See you guys.
Bye.
The views, thoughts, and opinions expressed in the Gen X Journey podcast belong solely to the hosts and guests and do not necessarily represent the views or opinions of any entity they are associated with. The information provided is for entertainment and informational purposes only and should not be considered professional advice. Listeners are encouraged to seek the advice of qualified professionals for any specific issues they may face. The creators and contributors of this podcast make no representations as to the accuracy, completeness, or validity of any information, and will not be liable for any errors, omissions, or any losses, injuries, or damages arising from its use.